you want to check if you want to check if some string is inside another thing, right? So like let's say I wanted to see if the letter A is in my name. So then what I could do is if string A is in name, we can print out you have an A in your name. And then maybe we can print out, we can take in name as input. So we can go name equals input. What is your name? So now if we run this, so if we run this, it asks, what is your name? I type in a conch, and it says you have an A in your name. So it's pretty self-explanatory what's happening, right? If the phrase before the in is in what's afterwards, this condition is set to true, right? So like we could do A in name equals A in name. And then if we print out, if we print out A in name and we run it, first it'll ask what's my name, and then it'll say true. So everyone write, use the in operator in any way you want. Just write it in the chat and then send it over. And if you have any questions, please let me know. So as a reminder, we want to check if the letter A is inside the variable name, right? So the way we would do that is we would put our letter, so in this case A, and then we would put a space, and then in, and then our variable name. Yeah, nice job, Abhiram. So actually, so yours, the way you would do that is instead of saying if U and S in name, you'd say if U in name and if S is in name. So right now, what you did is if U and S in name, like it'll interpret this as U and S, right? And that would confuse the program. So what you want to do is if U in name and if S is in name. Does that make sense, Abhiram? And nice job, Harshini. Nice job, Chan. Nice job, Pulkit. Okay. So yeah, Nice job, Ava. Yeah, nice job, Abiram. That's it. So right now we did this with a string, right? Like, and it doesn't only have to be one letter. So like, let's say if um if I put sh, right, then we can do sh. Or actually, we'll just use the variable here. Never mind. We'll get rid of this. So if sh in name, you have sh. Like it doesn't only have to be one character. So if we run this, so I put a conch, it says you have an sh in your name. And then we can also do this with lists, right? So let's say we have a list called class, and we'll just make up some names. So we'll say Max, Monica, Frank, Robert. So now, like, let's say, oh, so it's a good lesson here. So see how this became orange? That means anytime like a variable turns orange, that means it's a reserved word in Python. So that means we can't use this word as a variable. So we would have to change this to like students. And now, like, let's say we wanted to check if Max is in the class. Then we could go if Max in students, then we could print Max is in the class. And then we could do else, print Max is not in the class. Right. So why is it? Okay, yeah. So it says Max is in the class. So are there any questions about this? So just to practice, everyone create a list of names or a list of anything actually, and then write an if statement using the in operator to check if there's an element inside the list. Nice job, Rithik. Nice job, Eva. I'll give you guys 1 or 2 more minutes, and we'll continue. Nice job, Pulkit. Just remember, whenever you're putting something inside an if statement or an else statement, you have to indent it.
Sir, I didn't understand what you meant by index it.
Indent. So like, see right now, what you did is like this, right? So you have your if, and then your print, and then
Actually,
your
sir, I
else.
couldn't do that in Zoom.
Oh, okay. Then no worries. Nice job. So for anyone that was confused about it, indentation is when you move something to a you move something over, right? So right now, this print statement isn't indented, but now it is indented.
If it is indented in a statement, if it's not, then it's not there.
Abiram, we aren't able to hear you. Your mic is a little like jumbled.
Okay, there is that better?
Yeah, that's a lot better.
All right. So as I was saying, if the indentation for a print would be like would be normalized, then it wouldn't be part of the if statement.
Yeah, that's right. So like right now, there's nothing in this if statement. So if we run the code like this, it would just error out. So like and then better way to show is like if we write code here, print anything. Like this code right here is going to execute regardless of what happens here in the if statement because it's on the same indentation level as the if. So yeah, thank you, Abiram. Okay, we'll continue now. So that's basically it for the in operator. Just to review, whenever you want to use, so in, it returns a Boolean value, right? So like if we can even set the variable max, we'll just say max equals max in students. And then, oh man, okay. And then if we print max, oh yeah, so see, like we left the print statement unindented, so the code errored out. So see, it says true, but then now if we take max out of the list, and then run it again, it says false. So that's basically how an if statement works, or an in statement works, sorry. So now we will talk about the not operator in OT. So not is kind of like is kind of like self-explanatory again. So like if we can say, just using the same example, we would say if max not in students, then we could say max is not in the class versus max is in the class. And then we would go like max is not in students. So basically what it does is it flips the result. So like if something is true, then if we put not in front of it, then it will be false. So then we could even print like print not max, and we can just see what happens. So print max and print not max. So we can see since max is not in this list, this statement here is true, which is why this code here runs. And then this variable max, since the string max is not in the list, the variable max is set to true, and then not max is false. So everyone in the chat, just create a variable like a Boolean variable. So like, for example, we could even do another example is like if not number is greater than 5, then we could take the numbers input. So number equals int input. So if not number is greater than 5, we could say the number is not greater than 5. And otherwise you could say the number is greater than 5. So it's asking to put a number. Let's say we'll put 3. What? Why is it? Okay, there we go. So we put the number 4. So 4 is, if we left the not out, 4 is greater than 5. This statement that is highlighted here is false. Then since we put the not here, the false gets flipped to true, and then this is printed out. So everyone in the chat, just try to use the not operator.
Sir, I didn't quite understand by if not. Like,
So like, what don't you understand?
I did not understand it at all.
Okay, so basically what it does is, so let's say, we'll just say the number is 4 by itself, right? So number is 4, and so like, let's say we have just x is a variable, then we have number is greater than 5. So what is the value of this variable x? What do you think? Just type it in the chat, everyone. What is the value of the variable x? So it would be a Boolean variable, remember. Yeah, that's right, Rithik. So since 4 is not greater than 5, this statement is false, and thus x is set to false. So if we print out print x, and we run this, it says false. But now if we say x equals not number is greater than 5, and we print x again, we can see, so first it starts as false and then it becomes true. So does this make sense how the not operators working?
It tells that the number, whatever you're saying, it's basically the opposite, like it's wrong.
Yes, that's correct. So if something, like, we can even print y equals true. True. And then if we print not y, even this will become false, right?
Yes.
So false, true, false. So that's exactly right. Not just flips. If something is true, not makes it false. If something is false, not makes it true. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So everyone try using the not variable and
So it's the
put in the
opposite,
chat.
right?
Yeah, it's just the opposite.
Okay.
That was a good question though. Nice job, Ava. So if you're struggling, look in the chat. Ava put a very good example. Nice job, Rithik. Nice job, Pulkit. Nice job, Abiram. Yeah, that's all really good. Nice job, Chen. Okay, I'll give you guys 1 or 2 more minutes and then we will continue. Okay, let's continue now. So basically the point of not is just it flips anything, right? So false becomes true and true becomes false. So I'll give you guys a little small quiz for the not thing. So just 2 questions. So question 1 asks, is hello world printed? So age is 25. If not, age is greater than 30, print hello world. Then question 2 asks, for which of the following options, A, B, C, or D? So for which of the following 4 options, A, B, C, or D, is hello world printed? So everyone in the chat, just in one message, give me a yes or no answer for 1 and then A, B, C, or D for 2. And send it to me privately, please. So I've only gotten a few answers so far. Are there any questions about this? Nice job, Abiram. Nice job, Ritik. Nice job, Pulkit. Nice job, Sahasra. So remember, this is, first of all, this is not B. And then second of all, this is and. So seems, actually no one's gotten question 2 right yet. So everyone think a little bit more about it. Nice job, Rithik. And please send your answers privately so that it doesn't get spoiled for other people. Nice job, Sahasra. Okay, yeah. So the answer to question 1 is yes. And the answer to question 2 is B. So does anyone want to explain their answer for question 1? Ava, would you like to explain? Or Himanish, go for it.
Yeah, so like if it's like not age 30, then it like prints hello world. Or I
Right,
mean
so
no, if they are 30, it prints hello world.
okay, so could you elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, since it's like if not, then that means like it's like the opposite. So since it's like the opposite, you it's not the like if it's not 30, then you print hello world. Like when the age is anything other than 30, you print hello world. But or less than 30. So anything more than 30, print hello world because
Okay.
it's the opposite.
So basically in this case, we have age is 25, right? So we can start, we'll look at this part first. So is 25 greater than 30? No,
No.
right? So that means this is false. And since we're putting a not in front of it, not age is greater than 30, where age is 25 is true, which is why hello world is printed. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And then does anyone want to explain number 2?
If it's and, they both have to be 2, but if it's all, one of them only has to be 2.
So which one do you think so you basically, since it's and, you think A has to be true and then not B has to be false, right? Rithik?
Yeah.
So
No,
then,
no.
so then, so then,
It's 2.
so not, or sorry, yeah. So A has to be true and then not B also has to be true.
Yeah, to make it 2.
So then what does B have to be?
False.
That's correct.
False.
So that means A has to be true and B has to be false. So now like let's say we'll do question 2 again. Like let's say if we had not A and not B, then what would be the answer? Everyone type it in the chat privately. Nice job, Rithik. Nice job, Sahasra. Nice job, Abhiram. So just to review, I think there's still a little bit of confusion about this. Whenever we have and, so like, let's say, so like, if we have a variable A is true, or let's say our variables are just A and B, right? For A and B to be true, for A and B to be true, A and B both need to be true, right? So this question, is A and B equals true, is basically saying, is A true and is B true? if A and B are both true, then it's correct. Or then if A and B are both true, then A and B is true. Sorry, it's like a little hard to explain it. But then if we have A or B, then only one of A and B have to be true. So like if we have A or B, then A, we can have A equals true, B equals true. This is a possibility. A equals true, B equals false is a possibility. A equals false, B equals true is a possibility, but it won't work if A is false and B is false. So do we see the distinction between or and? Just put like a thumbs up or something, if that makes sense. And if there are any questions about it, please speak up or send me a message. Okay, so then let's revisit this. So Sahasra, Abhiram, Chan, and Ritik got it right. Or basically, does anyone want to explain what the answer is for number 2?
Sir, may I say?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, over here is written for which of these options is hello world printed if not A and not B. Print hello world. So first of all, not A will make it like false. And not B will also make it false. So it should be D.
Yeah. So what Pulkit is saying is we need not A and not B to both be true, right? Which means for not A to be true, A has to be false. And for not B to be true, B has to be false, which is why option D is the correct answer. Any questions about that? All right, yeah. Nice job, Pulkit. So next thing we will be going over today is called a while loop. So I'll just give you an example while loop. So like, let's say we have a counter is 0. And then we have the Python keyword while counter is less than 10, print counter. So what this program will do is while this condition here is true, while counter is less than 10 is true, it will execute whatever is in the box, right? So now here, we would, every time we print counter, we would increment counter. So counter equals counter plus 1. So now if we run this, oh, what did I spell it wrong? Counter. Okay, now, so counter starts at 0. Since 0 is less than 10, it prints counter and then adds 1 to counter. So now counter is 1. Since 1 is less than 10, it prints counter and adds 1. And then it keeps going and keeps doing that. And then once the last step is when counter is 9, 9 is less than 10, it prints 9 and then it adds 1. So that's when counter becomes 10. And at this point, since 10 is less than 10, or sorry, 10 is not less than 10, it ends. So we can basically say print while loop over. When counter was at str counter. So while loop ended at when counter was at 10. Does that make sense how a while loop works? Any questions about that? So basically, just to summarize it, we have the keyword while, then our condition, and then our code. So then one good thing one thing to make sure of is that we need to know, or we need to set a point for this variable counter to reach 10 or something greater than 10. Because if the while loop just keeps going, it'll cause the computer to crash. And we'll see that here. I remove the incrementer. So what it will do is counter will always be 0 and it'll just keep printing 0. And now it's just going to keep going and going and going forever. Right? And so if something like this happens to you, the way you would stop the program from running is doing Control-C. And then it would end. So everyone, that's basically like if this kept going forever, eventually your computer would crash. So that's something you would like to avoid. So everyone create an example of a while loop in the chat. And send your while loop publicly so that everyone else gets an example. Yeah, nice job, Pulkit. Nice job, Abiram. Nice job, Chen. Nice job, Eva. Nice job, Harshini. Anu, except for like the spacing, that looks good. So yeah, it seems you guys have grasped the concept. So we will sorry, 1 second. Okay, so one like common application of a while loop is to like repeatedly ask a question, right? So like for example, let's say our question is let's say like, do you like ice cream? That's our question. And we want a response that is only yes or no. If they don't say yes or no, then we want to ask again. So what we could do is we would set a variable response. So just response equals just an empty string, and then while response or while not response equal yes, or not response equals no, we ask again. So we would go response equals input, do you like ice cream? So then Like we could run this now. F5. Do you like ice cream? No. Oh wait. What? Wait 1 second. So if I say like I hate ice cream, it'll ask me again. If I say no with a capital N, it'll ask me again. If I say yes with a capital Y, it'll ask me again. But if I say Y, yes with a lowercase y, why isn't it working? Is anyone able to tell why it's not working?
Wait,
What?
what? I think you need to put in like some sort of a if statement or something. If you'd like put the response as yes or something.
So like that's the goal here, right? This is our condition. So each time it's asking response, right? Like we put yes, right? So then it should go back and say response equals, or wait, we should do and. Maybe that'll work. Yes. See, now it ends. Yeah, so basically what was happening is we put or, right? So like we put yes as a response and then it went here. Not response equals yes. This is false. But since response wasn't equal to no, this was true. So that's why it didn't work. But since we put and, it works now. So I'll run it again. So if I say I hate ice cream, it asks me again. If I say I love ice cream, it'll ask me again. If I say yes with a capital Y, it'll ask. If I say no with a capital N, it'll ask. But if I say like just yes, it'll be done. So does that make sense how the while loop works in this situation? Sorry, that was a little confusing. So everyone create, just like ask a question and then or actually we'll print out the response. So if print response. Okay, so yeah, does that make sense how the while loop works in this situation? Any questions about this? So everyone just create a while loop using any question of your choice and type in the chat. So I'll make another example in the meantime. So like we'll do password. Yeah, that's good, Abiram. Try to send your response in everyone chat so other people get a good example. Nice job, Eva. Nice job, Rithik. Oh, actually, Rithik, you need to put 2 equal signs instead of 1 in your if statement. So whenever you put 2 equal signs, it's asking a question. But whenever you put 1 equal sign, it's assigning a value. So once you correct that, it'll be good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Otherwise, nice job. Nice job, Jen. I like Taylor Swift too. Yeah. Okay. So it seems once you guys grasp the concept. So one more way to use a while loop is to say while true. Okay, so if we say while true, the program will run forever. And sometimes that's a good thing because there's like a very specific instant when you want to stop. So like let's say we do counter equals 0, and then print counter. And like if we just do this, it'll keep going on and on and on and on, right? Because there's no while, like true is always going to be true, right? So it'll keep running this counter until we break the loop. And the way to break the loop is we go like, we give a condition, right? So if counter equals 5, break. And see how this turns orange? It's another keyword. So now if we run it, oh, yeah, equals. So now if we run, oh, okay. So now like, look again, I made another mistake, right? So I've set it to break when the counter is 5, but I've never made it so that the counter can reach 5 because I never incremented the counter. So the way I just have to increment the counter and then it'll work. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then once it reaches 5, it breaks. So now everyone rewrite the program you just wrote where you asked a question, except use while true and then use an if statement inside to break the while loop. So like here, I can I'll do it for the password thing. So while true, actually we'll do this here. So if password input does not equal apples, print this, and then else do this, and then break. So if I type in like banana, it'll go again. If I type in root, it'll go again. But if I type in apples, oh, apples with a capital A, it'll work. Nice job, Anu. Anu, you just have to make sure you indent the break one more time. But other than that, that's good. And then Abiram. Yeah, Abiram, that would work. That's good. Yeah, that's good, Chan. Nice job, Sahasra. Yeah, that's good, Ritik. Okay. Yeah, so it seems most of you guys get the concept. So basically, you can either put your condition just right after the while, or in some cases, it's easier to put your condition inside of the if statement and then just break it. So actually, we'll go over it. So there's two types of loops in Python. There's while loops, which is what we just went over, and there's for loops. So in a for loop, the way it's quite similar to a while loop, except it's like a lot more defined how many times the loop is going to run. It's like we could do for x in range 20, print x. So this will print 0 through 19. So actually, we're using the range function here, right? So if we print out, just to demonstrate, if we print out range 20, you'll be able to see. Oh, okay. So like what effectively range 20 does is like, it's like a list from 0 to 19. So basically in a for loop, there's like, you can have 3 different parameters for range. You would have the start number. So like if we want to start at 0, you would say 0, and then the number right after the ending. So like if you want to print all the numbers from 1 to 19, you would say 20 here. If you want to print the numbers from 1 to 100, you would say 101. And then the third number that you can add is the step. So like if you want to go up by 2 each time, you would put a 2 here. So if we run this, it's just 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. And then like basically it's 4x in range. And then this variable here, x, is called your iteration variable. So this is the variable that is being changed. So essentially like a for loop just makes your job a lot easier. Like it does everything. So it iterates your variable and it stops the loop. So it's like rare that you'll ever need to use a break command in a for loop. So everyone very quickly just write like your own for loop using all three of the numbers. And just print out whatever iteration variable you decide to use. Yeah, that's good, Pulkit. Just I think you mentioned that the tab wasn't working for you, but for everyone else in the chat or in the call, just make sure that you indent whatever you're putting inside the for loop. Yeah, that's good, Abhiram. Yeah, that's good, Sahasra. That's good, Rithik. That's good, Chen. But yeah, so like one more thing, if you ignore this value here, or you ignore this, like if you ignore the third number, then if you ignore the third number, then it's the same thing as putting a 1 here. So like 1 is a default value for the last value for like the step. And then if you ignore the first number, the default value is 0. The only value that's required is the ending value. So yeah. So I think that's it for today. Our next class will be, yeah, Sahasra. So Sahasra asked, is it possible to make a calculator in Python? So of course, like it's even possible that like the calculator you have on your computer is programmed in Python. So yeah, Abhiram saying he made one before. So it's definitely possible to make a calculator in Python. And maybe if we do like a second Python class, like an intermediate class, we'll do the final project as making a calculator. We won't be able to do it for this one though, unfortunately. That's a good question though. So yeah, our next class is going to be tomorrow at 7 p.m. if you are on the West Coast. And then if you're in India, it'll be at 8:30 a.m. tomorrow. If there are not any more questions, we will end class today.
Excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ma'am, what do you mean by West Coast? Actually, I just shifted to Oregon. I don't know what you mean by West Coast.
Oh, are you living in Oregon right now, Pulkit?
Yes.
Okay, so that means you're on the West Coast. So tomorrow, here, I'll just show you, because why not?
West Coast is like the west side of America. So like the United
Yeah.
States, it's the west side. New York, that side, it's East Coast.
So basically, Oregon is right here. This is where we live, Pulkit. So that means we're on the West Coast.
Okay, thank
But
you.
orange part is West Coast.
Yeah, the orange is the West Coast. That's right.
Mm.
Yeah. So if you're on the West Coast, it'll be at 7 p.m. And if you're in India, it'll be at 8:30 a.m. tomorrow.
Okay.
So if there are not any more questions, we will be done for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.